Inkosi benani. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Now on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene came to the tomb early while it was still dark, and saw that the stone had been taken away from the tomb. So she ran and went to Simon Peter and the other disciple, the one whom Jesus loved, and said to them, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and we do not know where they have laid him." But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb. And as she wept, she stooped to look into the tomb. And she saw two angels in white, sitting where the body of Jesus had been, one at the head and one at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "Because you have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." Saying this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing, but she did not know it was Jesus. And Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom do you seek?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not hold me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brethren and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and said to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." And she told them that he had said these things to her. The Gospel of the Lord. I love the words on this feast of Mary Magdalene today. That's why I'm wearing white. It's feast day. And we're remembering a great woman in the Gospels, Mary Magdalene. Magdalene was a town on the shore of the Sea of Galilee. So she was a Mary from Magdalene. But the words I'd like to pick on today is, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. So my God and your God, same God. You might have heard me saying something that might be strange to some of you, that we must worship the God of our understanding. And this is where it comes from for me. Because I can only truly worship and love what I know. If you have an experience of Jesus Christ, of God, in a particular way, and it is different from mine, which it must be because we're two totally different people, I have no right to tell you that your way of worshiping is wrong. And you have no right to tell me my way of worshiping is wrong. If I am loving, we will Each of us will have a different understanding of God that is unique, beautiful, and powerful. And we do not have to fight about it. If only we had learnt this years ago, the church would not be so divided. But let's look how this plays out in this beautiful reading. We know the story, the resurrection of Jesus. There's a part missing from here, but we know the part. So, Mary Magdalene, on her own, comes to the tomb while it is still dark. She's a woman alone, early morning. This is not a good time for anybody to be around, but she goes. Why? Her love. We know from the stories from the Bible that she had 7 demons, and Jesus had eradicated these demons from her. So she had been freed by Jesus of a way of life where she had been possessed by these evil spirits. So her experience, her direct experience of Jesus was enormous. Peter, James, John had not had demons cast out. Mary, the Virgin Mother, had not had demons cast out. Not only, but in our context, Mary Magdalene. So she'd had a very unique experience with Jesus. That's important to remember. And this experience, this unique experience, causes her, once Jesus has died, to go to the tomb. Well, if we've really loved somebody and we have buried them, or they've been cremated and we've put them in the wall of remembrance, we will be drawn to go and be near them in a sense, even though they have risen from the dead. So Mary has the same thing. Why? Her love draws her. So she goes even in the dark, she sees the stone rolled away, and then she goes quickly to Simon, Peter, and the other disciples, because she knows that Jesus said to them that they must be the leaders, and she tells them what has happened. The bit we haven't read today is that Peter and John rush to the tomb. They rush in, they see what they see, and then they go back. But Mary remains, and this is where we take up the story again. Mary stood outside weeping. She does not leave the last place she knew the physical Jesus had been. And she stays there because of her unique experience of being relieved of her sins and the demons. So overwhelming is her love for her, and unique, that even though Peter and John the beloved, and Peter the first pope, as it were, chosen and loved by Jesus, a unique relationship, her relationship kept her at the tomb. And when she stayed at the tomb, she had a unique experience that no one else had. Not Peter, not John, not even the mother of Jesus. And she stays, and we have this wonderful reading of how she wasn't sure if he was who he was. She was speaking to the gardener, but only when the gardener mentioned her name, because remember, he must have called her by name many times, and it was the name. In other words, when that relationship between Jesus and Mary had been tapped into from both sides, then there was recognition. And then he gives her this beautiful saying, don't feel attached to the physical body of Jesus. That's not where we're going, Mary. Because I must ascend to my Father and yours, my God and yours. And when she had had this unique experience that only Mary of Magdalene had, no one else, then she went back to the apostles and the disciples and explained to them her experience. So important. So here's her journey. She needed Jesus hugely when she was possessed by the demons. Jesus came, she was healed, she developed this incredible love for Jesus, and she followed Jesus. She was there when he was crucified, and she goes on her own, with her own love and her own conviction, in the early morning, in the dark, to the tomb, has this incredible experience that nobody else has. And then Jesus tells her, now you have had an experience that no one else has had, Mary. No one else has had your experience. It's just between you and me. Personal, intimate, truly a deep relationship. And that changed, not changed her, she'd already been changed, but that solidified for her this great love that she had for Jesus and has for Jesus. And then she goes and she tells others about it. For us, as we are challenged each day by the scriptures as I am challenged and you are challenged, what are the moments of my personal journey with Jesus, like Mary, that have been unique and different from anybody else's? The experiences that I've had with Jesus that make my relation with him turn to love and to make me feel his love. And dare I say it, but I think it needs to be said. It is that in the moments of our deepest sin, our deepest possession of demons of one way, of one kind or another, when we are relieved of that, then that love grows. When I am loved in my weakness, in my sinfulness, not so that I continue to be weak and sinful, no, that was not what happened to Mary. But when I experience that love of incredible forgiveness from God, not from anybody else, then I can truly love God. How sinful are we? Not to be burdened by it, but to be aware of it, so that we can see the incredible love God has for us. So much to learn in the scripture today. But let us see how God touches us in our own unique way. It doesn't have to be like anybody else. What is the unique way God is touching us today? Let us savor that moment. Amen.